Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is VIN 1303. This is a 2016 083 ultra white with gold flake with LA30 red interior. On Auto Trader private seller exchange in San Jose, California, 29,000 miles for $58,000. Low mile example, pretty high price. Production statistics: 648 out of the 2,348 cars for the US 49 were ultra white, and 361 had LA30 red interior. This is the most common color combination, white with red, on these cars. 15.37% was in this exact combo, so it is like a 1 out of 10 for rarity. Pretty much when a white one pops up for sale, it's gonna have red interior. 2016, 372 out of the 1,418 cars were ultra white. 214 had LA30 red interior. So this car is one of 214 at its rarest. Carfax, Epic VIN, and Auto Check. So this is where it gets interesting. 3 owner, 1 accident, and it shows moderate to severe damage, April 16th, 2016. This car was 11 days from when it was sold. It got into this accident. So it probably still had temporary tags or paper plates on it. Front left, front right, front end, and right side with less than 300 miles on it. Basically a little bit after a week after it was sold. And it didn't total it because this car was $90,000 and it would have had to have probably $60,000 worth of damage at the time. So keep that in mind when you see a severe accident when the car is a week or 2 old, this kind of damage. Epic VIN shows this as a 3 owner, no accident car. I don't know how they missed a severe accident, but it's not there. And Auto Check, which is the most forthcoming on some of the info here, 3 owner, 1 accident, severe damage with disclosed structural damage when it was sold at auction in December of 2016. And this also has one of the lowest scores I've seen for a clean title GSF, 71 out of 100, where typically they have like an 89 to a 94, 95 type of score. So even with an accident, sometimes they still have that high. So this car having structural damage, a severe accident, has a Auto Check score of 71. Do with that what you may. But the accident date on the Carfax, it shows as December of 2016, which is not correct. It is the one in April of 2016, but that's not reported on the Auto Check. They report it when it was structural damage disclosed when it was sold at auction in December of 2016. So this is a 3 owner, 1 severe accident with structural damage car with still a clean title because it happened when this car was a couple weeks old or less. Previous sales, March of 2016, $88,000 in California, and it sold in about a month. And then the accident happened 11 days later, as I said. It went to auction in September of 2016 and it bounced around. It was sold a couple times and then it finally popped up for sale in December of 2016. $65,000 with 1,300 miles with structural damage disclosed. In California, and it's even advertised as rare color combo. I find that kind of comical because it's the most common color combo that you can get on these cars. Still for sale in January of 17. Still for sale in April of 17, still for sale in May of 2017, and it finally sold in June of 2017, 7 months for sale. And then there was a private sale in October of 2022, 6,800 miles on it, again to a buyer in California. So here it is, May 2026, 29,000 miles, $58,000 in California. So now into the photos. So this car, it has a couple modifications. It has an aftermarket exhaust, it has tinted taillights. I tint my taillights so they work less. These cars already don't have super great bright taillights, make it worse. Anyway, that's personal preference. It has a wrapped roof. I would probably remove it just to see what's under there, but the paint could use a good polishing. You can kind of see some swirls, and I don't know if it's just dirty in the photos, but definitely could use a good paint correction. It has the fender vent accents, very common stuff that you see on these cars. So, no real red flags there. The wrap, I would probably remove that just to make sure there's no damage under that. And if you're satisfied, then redo it. That's kind of what I would do. The interior looks phenomenal. It even still has like the matte finish that the brand new leather had. I mean, it looks appropriate for a 29,000 mile car. Just very clean example. It looks brand new. I don't see any carbon fiber trim delamination or anything on the interior. So again, I don't see any issues there. The panels on the outside all seem to line up well. So whatever this severe damage structural accident was that happened almost 10 years ago, it hasn't been an issue. But again, because this car has that on the history, it is going to affect the value. So that brings me to the price. This car, so a car with structural damage, you have to basically price right above a rebuilt title car. So you have a salvage, you have flood cars or fire cars, you have rebuilt salvage cars, you have rebuilt title cars, and then you have structural damage cars with clean title. That's where this car is. So it's just above that. Those kind of cars for a 2016 are like 28 to 30, maybe 32,000, or even slightly higher if it's exceptionally low mileage like this is. So like this car to me should probably be in the 30s with structural damage, no matter what the mileage is. You know, it can be 39,000, but I think the price for this car, because of the structural damage, even though it was 10 years ago, it probably needs to start with a 3, in my opinion. Now, if it didn't have that, this car priced at $58,000, that's probably fair. The structural damage will always be with this car, and so that means the next person to sell it is always going to have to deal with that. And it's basically like selling a rebuilt title car. I've had a car that's had structural damage before, and it was a EP3 Honda Civic, and it was the biggest hassle to try to sell, and you ended up basically giving it away because nobody wanted to deal with a structural damage car. And so I don't care if it's 10 years old or 10 years ago that it happened, that is going to affect the price on this car, and in a big way. A salvage title or rebuilt title car, generally 25 to 30%, if not more, value decrease. This car, if you know the market says it's worth 55, 58, something like that, as a clean title car, you need to subtract about 25 or 30%, and then that's where the market is for this car, or just slightly above it, because it's not a rebuilt title car, it's slightly above that. It is a nice example, but that is something you're going to have to pay attention to with this car. So I think at 58,000, you know, there's no way. It's not going to happen. If it was a clean title, no accidents, absolutely. But it's not that. And you know, furthermore, when it was sold at auction, you saw it bounce around a lot. It's probably because of the structural issue. You know, if it's bought and sold 3 or 4 times in a period of a couple months at auction, it's dealers basically playing hot potato or trying to resell it, move it around another auction to find top dollar for it, because people, you're going to have a lot of resistance dealing with a structural title severe accident car. So now to the service history. This car is not particularly well dealer serviced either. The last service was at 6,700 miles. It has almost 30,000 now, and that was in 2022. Basically nothing the last 4 years. So the first entry of note is August of 2016, right after the major accident. Codes in for the headlight malfunction, vehicle stability control issues, blind spot monitoring, and others, the backup camera, the airbag spiral cable. So that probably tells me that the airbags went off too, and it just wasn't reported on Carfax. The steering angle sensor, it was replaced, lots of other stuff. And so basically what that tells me relating to the steering wheel and airbag stuff is whatever it hit, it probably snapped the wheel over, or you know, it could have damaged the steering rack. We don't know what all was replaced, but that may be related to what got damaged. And so it's still having issues. I encourage you to pull up the service history on this car and read through some of this, because there is a lot to unpack, and there's a lot of issues that this car had as a result of this accident. January of 2017, someone was doing a pre-purchase inspection when it was for sale in December of 2016, and they paid $270 at the dealer to do a pre-purchase inspection, and they must not have bought it because that car didn't sell until June of 2017. So it sat around for another 6 months before it sold to the next owner. So they obviously didn't like what they found. June of 2017, so that's when the car did sell, the windshield washer was noted as leaking, and an AC line blew while it was sitting in the shop for service getting that worked on. They noted that there was a transmission mount loose, and there was an engine tick. The crank pulley had an intermittent spark that was coming from the pulley. So that means, you know, something ground or something electrical was shorting out. They inspected the grounds, replaced the dry belt, and sent it on its way. Nothing since then. So kind of sounds to me with a loose transmission mount, either it was knocked loose, don't think so, or they probably removed the engine and transmission when they did the repair work. Like, I'm just trying to think through my head what kind of severe damage this car would have that wouldn't total it when it was brand new. And so basically the whole front end, you know, that's kind of what's going through my mind on this car. November of 2017, 3,300 miles, the lower oil pan was leaking. So they resealed it and sent it on its way. But again, that's probably related to the accident, and something else got damaged there. March of 2018, the JLB recall was done. That's the high pressure fuel pumps. July of 2018, headlight malfunction. They reprogrammed it and sent them on their way. 2 months later, September of 2018, yet again with a headlight malfunction, and they said that the motor was binding inside the headlight. So that's the leveling motor, and it's not serviceable, which they're correct. And they replaced one of them, and it doesn't say which one. I would kind of assume, since it sounds to me like the majority of the damage was to the right front, it's where the transmission cooler is and all that. That's probably the headlight that was replaced, but I don't know for certain. July of 2022, 6,700 miles, which is the last service, an oil change, and they noted that the left side caster is out of spec, but it's not correctable. So that could be potential frame damage or something like that. Like, I just trying to think of other stuff that goes through my head when you see a severe accident like this, but they note that it needs a lower control arm bracket, probably talking about the lower control arm bushing to replace it and get it in spec. So that's the last service, and there's a lot to unpack there. So what's not done? The ZLZ, and it is expired on this car. The in-service date was April 8th of 2016, so just about a month ago. It's expired. Low pressure fuel pump reprogram has not been done on this car, so that's the humming or buzzing you hear in the back seat. There is a fix for it, but it's not free anymore. The low pressure fuel pump recall that just came out about a month ago, that once parts are available, you can get a new low pressure fuel pump because this car still has a clean title. If this was a salvage title car, Lexus will not cover that unless, I'm not sure on the recalls if they cover that, but I know the customer service campaigns are not covered once it has a salvage title or rebuilt title. HVAC servo sweep, the valley plate, carbon fiber trims all original, the TVD needs to be serviced, the transmission needs to be serviced, the KLG customer service campaign, that's the GPS location, that hasn't been done. Basically, there is a lot that needs to be done on this car. No evidence of any brake replacement, and definitely have to look at tires, things like this on cars that don't get driven. So look at date codes, look at tire condition, and I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. So the issues, constant electrical issues, sparking from the crank pulley, headlight replacement, the steering angle sensor, the airbag spiral cable replacement, like a lot of stuff that has been done on this car relating to this accident. And it just sounds like for a couple years after the accident, they were still having issues as late as 2018. And maybe there's still issues and it just wasn't gone to the dealer, went to an independent mechanic or DIY or something like that. But there is a lot going on with this car. And so that brings me to, would I buy this car? Not a chance, not at this price. If the price started with a 3, I might consider it, but definitely have to be very, very thorough with a pre-purchase inspection on this car, not just for the usual, the valley plate, things like that, but with the repair and what all was done. Bring a paint meter, check paint readings. You can't read the bumper because it's plastic, but check what all panels were repainted. I bet the doors were repainted, the fender or replaced, the hood, things like that. There's a lot. If you start getting into things like the A-pillars have been repainted or replaced or things like that, and there is some major stuff. This car doesn't have a lot of miles in recent years to really tell if it's got any tire wear issues related to the accident or things like that. But there's just, when you get to cars like this, you have to really pay attention to the little things. Otherwise it will be constant. So make sure the door locks work. Make sure, like, everything electrical, try it all, the sunroof, make sure it works, it doesn't bind, it doesn't make any funny noises. There is a lot on this car that you need to pay attention to. Not saying it's a bad car, but there's a lot you need to pay attention to, and you definitely need to get it for less than the asking price. So that is what I've got for you guys. VIN 1303, maybe worth checking out, but it's not for me. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.